Welcome to Reclaim Your Health, the show for women who are committed to improving their health on the physical, emotional, and spiritual levels. Here are your hosts, Dr. Rachel Haviland and Genevieve Kahn.
Welcome to another episode of Reclaim Your Health. I'm Dr. Rachel Haviland.
And I'm Genevieve Kahn. And today we're going to talk about sugar and how it affects the body with Dr. Tabitha Carr. Now, Tabitha Carr is a leading authority in the field of women's health and wellness, focusing on the extremely powerful and effective tools of natural medicine. She's a leading advocate for women using the power of their mind, body, and spirit to bring positive changes to their life. Dr. Carr recognizes that women today face many personal challenges which keep them from living a full life, including issues around weight management, hormonal imbalances, blood sugar imbalances, adrenal fatigue, and more. Dr. Carr specializes in identifying the root causes of a woman's symptoms and partners with her to address these issues, leading to a life of energy, good health, and balance. Welcome, Dr. Carr, to the podcast. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Tabitha is fine, and some people call me Dr. T. So
Dr. T, that's fantastic.
Well, it's an honor to have you here today, and I'm so excited to talk about this topic because it's one that we get questions about a lot and comments about a lot, because so many women experience cravings for sugar, and the truth is that there are so many foods these days that have sugar hidden in them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I tell my clients all the time, especially when I'm doing programs or presentations, you have to watch the sugar. Ketchup, if we take a tablespoon of ketchup, it tends to have 4 or 5 grams of sugar in it. Barbecue sauce can have 10 grams of sugar in it per serving. And, you can eat a scoop of ice cream, a serving of a half a cup of ice cream, and it's easily 10 or 12 grams of sugar. So I ask, would you rather have that tablespoon of barbecue sauce, or would you like to have that half a cup of ice cream that has the same amount of sugar in it? So we really have to be mindful, when we're choosing things like spaghetti sauce, simple things like that we don't even think about, can have a ton of sugar in it, or a ton of high fructose corn syrup, which we want to try to avoid. So absolutely.
I admire your mission of being on a mission to educate women about this, because unless you look at the list of ingredients on these items, you really have no clue. And, coming from England, I find everything over here very sweet anyway. So I tend to eat a fraction of a portion because it's just too much sugar for me, and I'm not used to it, which is interesting. I've been here 17 years this year, and I still find things very, very sweet. And you were talking about barbecue sauce, so you add on the honey barbecue, and it just tastes so sweet. I can't do it, but it really is one of those things that they have to take into account. And also, I think it's important to look at the ingredients not just for yourself, but also for your children. Many of the foods that children are being fed also have hidden sugar.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some of our, behavioral problems, I know this wasn't the topic that we're talking about, but when you mention children and sugar and how important it is to really watch their diet, we can see behavioral problems when it comes to a high processed and high sugar diet. Instead of sending, the children off to school with oatmeal or something like that, some of us are choosing the processed sugary cereal that easily have, 15, 20 grams of sugar in it. So we have to be careful. I see a lot of families, that when the parents are struggling, the children are struggling, and I have experience with that myself. I grew up in the South. I grew up in Georgia with, very rich foods, and just high fat foods, high saturated fat foods. And, we didn't really know any better. We ate it because it tastes good. And, we have these recipes that are passed down from generation to generation. And, and we love them, because it's coming from our parents, it's coming from our grandparents, but, sometimes they're just not healthy for us. And, we can eat it in moderation, 80-20, but it's just something we can't continue to eat on a daily basis and stay healthy.
And that's one of the reasons I brought it up, because I think it's really important that the whole sugar issue starts in childhood, and it's what we become used to or not used to. I often look around and see parents, and I often think, when it comes to things like candy, it should be a treat every now and then, not necessarily something to keep the kids quiet. You know? And that they give it to the kids at such a young age that I just think it's that the habit is starting early, which is why I brought that up. And so, 20, 30, 40 years down the line, we as women are in the position where we grew up with a lot of sugar and unhealthy recipes, as you suggested, and now we're kind of stuck. So what are some of the tips that you have to help us deal with those sugar cravings that we get?
I'm glad you mentioned this, because I have a number of tips, but I do want to say, never give up, because, people think they can't, detox their body from sugar and they can't give up sugar. And I will tell you, I will be the first one to say, if you're really going to give up sugar, let's say for a certain amount of time, maybe 30 days, those first couple days are hard. They tend to be hard. They tend to be harder for people who have blood sugar that's unbalanced, that's going up and down, up and down. But we can eat foods with good fat and good protein to help sustain us, so we don't have those sugar cravings. And it's important that we eat the right things and we're not eating so much processed foods. It's the processed stuff that really keeps us having these sugar cravings. It's easy to break the cycle, but then again, it might not be so easy when you're first starting out.
Right. And for some of our listeners who may not be cognizant or have not been learning yet about what sugar can do to our bodies, can you speak a little bit about that, Tabitha?
Absolutely. And I want everyone, all of your listeners to understand that, it's progression, right? We don't wake up overnight with problems with our blood sugar, unless it's something that, we're born with or something, and that's a different situation. But it's progressive, and I'll give myself as an example. I was first put on blood pressure pills at the age of 16. I was a size 20, 22 in high school. Instead of, someone really correcting the deficiency I was having or correcting what was going on physiological in my body, it was ignored. I was just put on a pill, no type of education, no type of why. There are so many reasons why we can have, blood pressure problems or blood sugar problems. It can be a mineral deficiency. It can be a problems with our kidneys. It can be a sodium potassium imbalance. It can be stress. There's just so much that can go into it. But over time, because my eating habits really didn't change, over time, I developed hormonal issues. I developed blood sugar issues. By the time I was 30, I was having panic attacks. I was on 3 blood pressure pills by the time I was 30. The third blood pressure pill I remember being put on was to protect my kidneys from the first blood pressure pill. So it was, it's just a continuous cycle. So I didn't develop the blood sugar problems overnight. It happened as a result of the continued lifestyle that didn't change, that did not change from back when I was first put on the blood pressure pill at the age of 16. So what happens over time is our body, our pancreas becomes weak, our liver becomes weak, our cells become insulin resistant. Just to shorten this process a little bit for you, just to make sure the listeners understand what's going on, is soon our body just either slows down that insulin production because our pancreas gets tired. We overwork it. If we're continuing to eat sugar and processed foods and foods that our body just doesn't agree with, then our organs are going to say, man, I'm tired. I'm worn out. And our adrenals, when we mention blood sugar and hormones and the correlation between it, our pancreas is kicking out the insulin. Our pancreas is trying its best to control that blood sugar and lower it. And sometimes it might get lowered too much, right? And then it's our adrenals that kick in and say, uh-oh, your blood pressure, your blood sugar is too low. We need to bring that blood sugar back up. So now our adrenals are working hard every day, trying to regulate and bring our body back to homeostasis. So we have our pancreas, we have our liver, we have our adrenals, and it's just the cycle that we're just not aware of, and it can be corrected or improved just by our diet.
That was a great explanation. Thank you. And I think it's really important to how you showed how all of the different organs are integrated together and work together, or work against each other and work against the health of the body, just by having too much sugar in our bodies. So obviously for you, everything turned around. And I'm guessing that, that led you to become a naturopathic doctor. But tell us about how you turned that around after so many years of struggling with your health.
Like I said, I was a size 2022 in high school. I remember in college, my freshman year, dropping down all the way down to a size 14, a size 12, 14. And for me, that's good. I was healthier. I remember not taking a blood pressure pill at that time. By the time I had graduated with my bachelor's degree, I was up to 280 pounds. I was my heaviest. So when women come to me and they're struggling and they're losing weight, gaining weight, all the time I get the story, Tabitha, I've lost weight in the past. I used to be this size, in my 20s and 30s, and then I gained and then I lost, so I went through this same cycle. And by the time I was 35 years old, I was on a continuous menstrual cycle for about 3 months. The hormone problems, again, didn't develop overnight. I was having problems with my thyroid before. I really didn't know it, but I was having problems with my adrenals, with the panic attacks. I didn't know it. I didn't know it was all connected at the time. So, by the time I was 35, I'm having so many hormonal problems that, the doctors are telling me, okay, in order for you to get better, either we need to have this type of surgery or yet we have to put you on another prescription. It might be a birth control pill, or something like that to get the hormones under control. And I personally did not accept that. I didn't accept it because, first of all, the birth control pills caused my blood pressure to go up. So not every female can tolerate birth control pills. So I was totally against that because I knew I would have to take more blood pressure medicine, and I didn't want to do that. So that's when I really started looking to natural health to heal my body. And I did. And when I found what really, really helped me to heal, it took less than 30 days. It took less than 30 days.
Wow.
To reverse. Yes.
So you reached rock bottom pretty much. And you were at the point where you either had the choice of surgery or more medications.
Right.
And so you started to look for other alternatives, but that's a very fast turnaround. So what changes did you make, and what changes did you see in your body?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I hadn't had any kids. And when you threaten, a female's ability to have kids, that was it. That was my wake up call. It was like, no way. So several things had to happen. Now, I cannot say that I was completely healed in 30 days because that's not true at all. It took 15 years to get where I was. Right.
Sure. But at least you started to see an improvement pretty much immediately, exactly. And then continued improvement as you went.
Exactly. Because it takes a lifestyle change. I'm talking about the food you eat. I'm talking about really supporting your body. What is that deficiency? What is it your body is missing. Is it missing iodine? Is it missing manganese? You know, what is it the body is missing? And then it's exercise. And then it's water. I never drank water. I probably drank a half a cup to a cup of water a day. So there are so many things that I did to really help heal my body. You know, it wasn't one thing. And like I said, I wasn't completely healed overnight, and I don't want anyone to think that, but I did stop bleeding.
Yeah, so that was a big step forward for you.
That's the big thing for me. And my body was acidic. You know,
Yes, yeah.
We don't think about the environment. We don't think about our internal environment if we're too acidic and too alkaline. I mean, I was so acidic, and just bringing my body into an alkaline state and feeding my body the right foods and exercising and giving my body the right minerals just completely turned it around. Completely turned it around.
That's wonderful.
No surgery, no exercise. And I would say within 3 months or so, 6 months time frame, I was off the blood pressure pills because I had lost weight.
Yes.
I lost weight and I was off the blood pressure pills. So after all those years, after being put on blood pressure pills at the age of 16, at the age of 35, I was off of blood pressure pills.
Congratulations. That's wonderful. And I think that's an important message, that there are many health issues that we can turn around by losing weight, moving more, eating better. And that, you know, your case is not always hopeless, that you can do a lot with it. Now, I think this is really interesting discussion so far. So I'm going to bring it to a different level now, because I love chocolate. I absolutely love chocolate. It's one of the main food groups, isn't it? I think it should be.
I think it should be as well. No doubt about it.
It is the primary food group.
The primary food group. I love it. Woman after my own heart. Which leads me to you having created your own line of chocolate. Is that right?
I did because I love chocolate. What you said actually got me to thinking. I'm going to say one more thing. I want to talk about adrenal fatigue, and I want to talk about caffeine. Those of us who are experiencing adrenal fatigue, one thing I tell ladies is you absolutely have to reduce or totally get off sugar. You have to reduce or totally eliminate processed foods. You have to reduce that caffeine. And see, they tell me, oh my God, I can't give up my coffee. No. You're tired because your body is wanting nutrition. Your body is needing something else. You know, try B12 over, or B complex, your B1, B2, B3, B6, B12. Try your Bs, your pantothenic acid, before turning to your caffeine, and I guarantee you will have a sustained amount of energy.
From experiencing it, it really is a struggle with that energy every day, and never being quite sure when you will have enough energy to do what you need to do. Caffeine wasn't too much of an issue with me. You know, I can enjoy coffee, but I don't. It's not something I have every day. But certainly, I would get those sugar cravings, or I would feel hungry or tired. And then just the easiest thing to reach for was, the packaged foods, the sugary snacks. It's a real challenge because you just don't have the energy, to prepare anything healthy. So I had to get to the point where when I did have the energy, I had to think and prepare in advance a lot more and think about, okay, what will I need to eat tomorrow, so that I had healthy food and healthy snacks available, just hands reach away, so that I didn't have to do any further preparation, so that, I could, start to change those habits and that lifestyle, and start to see an improvement in my health. But it is a real challenge.
Yeah. And it's about stress, because dairy can stress our body. If our body can't tolerate dairy, if our body can't tolerate caffeine, if our body can't tolerate gluten, our adrenals are overworked. So it's about stress. But about the chocolate, because I know we feel stressed, and we turn to food sometimes as comfort, and I was one of those people, and I created this chocolate line because I wanted a guilt-free chocolate. I wanted to be able to indulge in chocolate without eating stuff that's bad for my body or things that my body can't tolerate. So it's dairy-free. Of course, it's gluten-free. So since it doesn't have any dairy or anything, it is considered vegan, but it's made with organic-based sweeteners, organic plant-based sweeteners, non-GMO, coconut sugar, maple syrup, all the good stuff. I look at these other chocolate brands, and even the gourmet ones are made with, things like sweetened condensed milk and high fructose corn syrup, and it's just awful. It's terrible. And being a naturopath and wanting to eat healthy every day, but yet wanting some chocolate, it was like I had to. It was like it was my duty. It was my duty to create this for women.
I love that. It's your gift to the world. It is what you are here for, girl.
It's my duty, right? Yeah, because it's something we can eat every day. It's 75% dark. So, and like I said, the only sweetener in the plain chocolate is just coconut sugar. And it's bean to bar. It's made right from the cacao bean, and it's single origin chocolate, from Tanzania. Sometimes I use a bean from Uganda, kind of depending on, what the chocolate is. But yeah, it's so good and good for you. It's something that the cacao bean has fiber in it. It has good minerals in it and good nutrition. So it's very good for you. But you can find it on my website at goodgirlchocolate.com. Or if you're on my main website, which is livingandlovinglife.org, you can link to it on that website as well. So,
but I love the name that you gave it, Good Girl Chocolate.
I love it. That is fabulous.
Because we're so hard on ourselves, as ladies, we always say, if we ate good, like I did really good this week, or if we ate bad, man, I really bummed it. I ate so bad on Friday, and I'm tired of hearing that. I don't want to hear that. If you eat chocolate, if you eat Good Girl Chocolate, you don't have any reason to say that you've been bad because it's still good. It's still good for you. It's
I love it.
And it's something you can eat every day. So you don't have to say you've been bad.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
I was going to say thank you for bringing your gift to the world. It's just been a fabulous interview. Very useful information. Thank you, Dr. Tabitha. So unfortunately, time is running out. So we're going to have to move into the wrap-up round. Jen, do you want to go ahead and ask the first question?
Absolutely. Now, Dr. T, what is the best piece of health or life advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice is follow your passion. For life, follow your passion. Do what you love to do. Don't worry about the money, because it will definitely come. And just to add to that, always have a godly spirit, a giving heart, and a receiving heart. As far as the best piece of advice, health advice, it's never give up, continue to have faith. It's about improvement. I don't care if it takes you a whole year to bring your body back to a healthy condition. Never give up. I mean, it took me a year to lose 80 pounds, but so what? I lost 80 pounds. We want an overnight weight loss journey. We want to lose all this weight in a month or 2 months or 3 months. And you can lose weight in that amount of time. But when you have 80 pounds or 100 pounds to lose, give your body time to change and transform and heal. So, take it slow. Don't give up.
It's about bringing your body back into balance and back into health. And that takes time.
That takes time. It does. And we didn't touch much on mental health, but that takes time too, because the root of our overeating is our emotions, and it takes time to really work on ourselves, and I do that continuously. Personal growth, personal development is to continue to work on myself, to break those self-sabotaging habits.
What's a daily habit that has helped you reclaim your health?
Drinking water. Definitely drinking half my body weight in water in ounces, and not to exceed 12 cups. I know some of us, might be heavier, and, I don't want to see you drinking 2 gallons of water, half of your body weight, but not to exceed 12 cups. And it's easier because you're not dehydrated. And when you're not dehydrated, you're not overeating as much. I tell my clients all the time, when you get that urge, just go in and drink 2 cups of water first. You just want to grab something, but no, grab the water first. And I promise the urge won't be as strong, or it will pass. It will completely pass. So water.
Can you recommend a health resource or an app that you love?
There are so many health resources that I love and so many books. So I'll recommend a book. I'll recommend an old favorite called Back to Eden. Some people might not even have heard of that book. But I know back to eating. I'm a book reader. I like to read. I don't really go into apps very often, but I think a good resource would be Back to Eden, and watching your podcast, of course. Just watching other health podcasts and really getting educated, really educating yourself about your body and understanding your body better so you can better take care of yourself.
Well, we appreciate that plug. Thank you. If you could give our listeners one final piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say spend time with God every morning. Spend time with God every morning. Practice gratitude. I promise you, spending that time will not only give you clarity, but it will just draw you closer to God, give you peace, make you stronger, make you wiser, make you better. And whatever that goal is, I don't care if it's a health goal, a weight goal, a relationship goal, a career goal, a finance goal, you will definitely grow stronger and grow wiser.
Oh, absolutely. That's such a great piece of advice. And Tabitha, what is the best way for our listeners to contact you? And if you have a free gift that you'd like to offer, that would be great.
Absolutely. So my website, livingandlovinglife.org, that is the best way. You can send me emails directly on there. My number's on there. You can call me. I do have a few free things on my website. I know I have a weight loss guide where it's broken down into the protein that we should be eating, even if you're vegan, because I know I have my vegans, my paleos, and my vegetarians. And so whatever you choose, however your style of eating is, it will definitely help everyone. It has the good fats broken down, what to stay away from, the good sugars, and a few recipes on there. So there are a few guides that your listeners can go and download for free on livingandlovinglife.org.
We definitely want to check out about Good Girl Chocolate. Is that goodgirlchocolate.com?
Yes, goodgirlchocolate.com.
That's great. This has just been such a wonderful interview, Tabitha. We thank you so much for joining us. And it's so important that we really understand on a physical level, but it also really, it kind of goes into everything else that we talk about here about emotional and spiritual, how it can all meld. And I think you really exhibited that so beautifully during speaking with us. So we thank you so much, and we look forward to staying in touch with you. And we also look forward to our listeners continuing to listen to this podcast so that you can find out how you can continue to reclaim your health. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I had a great time, and I think it's wonderful what you're doing and the education that you're providing.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Reclaim Your Health. Listen in to our past shows at yourhealth.us and connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/reclaimyourhealthpodcast. Want to learn more? Download our simple steps to essential self-care at reclaimyourhealth.us/free gifts.